Start, madam.
The dignitaries have arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, may we request everyone present here to kindly rise as the dignitaries are escorted to the dais. Honorable Srimati Justice B.V. Nagratna, Judge, Supreme Court of India.
Honorable Shri Justice Vibhu Bakru, Chief Justice, High Court of Karnataka, Patron in Chief, Karnataka State Legal Services Authority, Karnataka Judicial Academy, and Karnataka Mediation Center.
Honorable Shri Justice Jayant Banerjee, Judge, High Court of Karnataka, and President, Karnataka Judicial Academy.
Honorable Shri Justice S.G. Pandit, Judge, High Court of Karnataka, and President, Karnataka Mediation Center.
Honorable Dr. Vijaya Rahatkar, Chairperson, National Commission for Women. We request the Director, Karnataka Judicial Academy, and the Registrar General, High Court of Karnataka, to kindly escort the dignitaries to the dais.
We'll start. Yes. I request everyone to kindly take your seats. A very warm and respectful welcome to all the distinguished dignitaries, honorable judges, members of the National Commission for Women, judicial officers, members of the bar, academicians, delegates, ladies and gentlemen.
It is our privilege to welcome you all to the South Zone Regional Conference on Justice for Women, organized by the National Commission for Women in association with the High Court of Karnataka and the Karnataka Judicial Academy.
With the kind permission of Her Ladyship, we shall now commence the inaugural session. May I request everyone to kindly rise for the national song, followed by the Karnataka State Anthem.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam, Malayaj Sheetalam, Shasya Shamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Shubhra Jyotsnam Pulabhitayamini, Pullakusumita Drumadala Shobhini, Suhasini Sumadhura Bhashini, Sukhadam Varadam Mataram,
Thank you all. This conference has been convened with This conference has been convened with a shared and unwavering commitment to advancing access to justice, promoting gender equality, and reaffirming our collective resolve to uphold the rights, dignity, and constitutional promise of equality for every woman.
Over the next 2 days, this distinguished gathering will bring together eminent members of the judiciary, legal luminaries, academicians, and other esteemed stakeholders. Through the thoughtful deliberations and meaningful dialogue, they will explore the challenges and opportunities that lie at the heart of building a more responsible, inclusive, and gender sensitive justice delivery system, one that ensures every woman can seek justice with dignity, confidence, and equal opportunity.
It is now our distinct honor and privilege to extend a heartfelt welcome to the dignitaries who have graciously joined us for the inauguration of the South Zone Regional Conference on Justice for Women.
Their august presence lends immense significance to this occasion and reflects our shared commitment towards justice, equality, and the constitutional promise of dignity for every woman.
Karnataka takes immense pride in welcoming one of its most distinguished daughter. With profound respect, we extend our warmest welcome to Honorable Srimati Justice B.V. Nagratna, Judge, Supreme Court of India.
It is our privilege to have your leadership inaugurate this South Zone Regional Conference on Justice for Women. Your leadership's gracious presence lends great distinction to this occasion, and we are deeply honored to welcome you, your leadership. I request Registrar General, High Court of Karnataka, to present a bouquet to Honorable Srimati Justice B.V. Nagratna, Judge, Supreme Court of India.
Thank you, sir. We are deeply honored to welcome Honorable Shri Justice Vibhu Bakru, Chief Justice, High Court of Karnataka, Patron-in-Chief, Karnataka State Legal Services Authority, Karnataka Judicial Academy, and Karnataka Mediation Center.
His Lordship's visionary leadership and steadfast commitment towards strengthening judicial institutions and promoting excellence in justice delivery have earned immense admiration. We warmly welcome your Lordship.
We also have the honor of welcoming Honorable Shri Justice Jayant Banerjee, Judge, High Court of Karnataka, and President, Karnataka Judicial Academy.
Your Lordship's guidance in advancing judicial education, institutional excellence, and capacity building continues to enrich the administration of justice. A warm and respectful welcome to your Lordship.
We are privileged to welcome Honorable Shri Justice S.G. Pandit, Judge, High Court of Karnataka, and President, Karnataka Mediation Center.
His Lordship's distinguished service to the judiciary and valuable contribution towards strengthening mediation and access to justice are deeply admired. A very warm welcome to your Lordship.
It is our privilege to welcome Honorable Dr. Vijaya Rahatkar, Chairperson, National Commission for Women. Madam's dedicated efforts in championing women's rights, gender justice, and empowerment have significantly contributed towards building a more equitable society. We are honored by your gracious presence, Madam. A very warm welcome to you.
We also extend our warm welcome to all the honorable judges of the southern states, Chief Secretary, Karnataka State, Advocate General, High Court of Karnataka, members of the National Commission for Women, registrars of the High Court of Karnataka and other high courts, officers of the Karnataka Judicial Academy, judicial officers, mediators, resource persons, members of the bar, academicians, distinguished invitees, media representatives, and all our esteemed participants.
Your presence enriches this conference, and we sincerely thank each one of you for being a part of this conference.
We now move on to the lighting of the lamp. The ceremonial lighting of the lamp symbolizes the triumph of knowledge over ignorance, hope over despair, and justice over injustice.
May I now respectfully request Honorable Srimati Justice B.V. Nagratna, Judge, Supreme Court of India, to kindly light the ceremonial lamp and formally inaugurate the conference.
We sincerely request Honorable Shri Justice Vibhu Bakru, Chief Justice, High Court of Karnataka, and the other dignitaries on the dais to kindly join hands in lighting the lamp.
शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
for lighting the lamp, signaling the beginning of this conference.
True greatness seeks no recognition. Yet, it is our privilege and honor to acknowledge and celebrate it. As it is rightly said, gratitude is a memory of the heart, and felicitation is its most graceful expression. In that spirit, we now express our profound respect and heartfelt appreciation to our distinguished guests through this humble gesture of felicitation. May I request Honorable Sri Justice Sunil S. Yadav, Judge, High Court of Karnataka and Governor, Karnataka Judicial Academy to present a memento to Honorable Srimati Justice B.V. Nagratna, Judge, Supreme Court of India, as a token of our reverence.
May I now request Honorable Shri Justice S.R. Krishnakumar, Judge, High Court of Karnataka and Governor, Karnataka Judicial Academy to present a memento to Honorable Shri Justice Vibhu Bhakku, Chief Justice, High Court of Karnataka, Patron-in-Chief, Karnataka Judicial Academy as a token of our gratitude.
May I now request Honorable Srimati Justice Lalita Kannaganti, Judge, High Court of Karnataka and Governor, Karnataka Judicial Academy to present a memento to Honorable Sri Justice Jayant Banerjee, Judge, High Court of Karnataka and President, Karnataka Judicial Academy as a token of our respect.
May I now request Honorable Shri Justice C.M. Punacha, Judge, High Court of Karnataka and Governor, Karnataka Judicial Academy to present a memento to Honorable Shri Justice S.G. Pandit, Judge, High Court of Karnataka and President, Karnataka Mediation Center as token of honor.
May I now request Srimati Saraswati Vishnu Kausandar, Director, Karnataka Judicial Academy, to present a memento to Honorable Dr. Vijaya Rahatkar, Chairperson, National Commission for Women, as a token of our profound appreciation. With the conference now formally inaugurated, may I now request Honorable Dr. Vijaya Rahatkar, Chairperson, National Commission for Women, to deliver her address.
Honorable Justice Srimati B.V. Nagaratna, Judge of Supreme Court of India, Honorable Justice Shri Vibhu Bakru, Chief Justice of High Court of Karnataka, Honorable Justice Shri Jayant Banerjee, President of Karnataka Judicial Academy, Honorable Justice S.G. Pandit, President of Karnataka Mediation Center, Honorable High Court Judges of Southern Zone, Registrar General, High Court of Karnataka, Director, and other officers of Karnataka Judicial Academy, distinguished judicial officers, panelists, mediators, and every participant gathered here today, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this first regional conference on Justice for Women for South Zone. Firstly, I express my sincere gratitude to Honorable Chief Justice of India, Justice Suryakant, and Justice Srimati B.V. Nagaratna, with whose support the National Commission for Women, in collaboration with Supreme Court of India, is organizing a series of judges' conferences across the country and initiating this with our first regional conference in association with the High Court of Karnataka and the Karnataka Judicial Academy. Over the 1.5 days, we will be having important discussions about where we stand on providing justice to women. Seminars, workshops, consultation, and awareness campaigns are done by National Women Commission. The NCW regularly conducts seminars, workshops, consultations, conferences, and awareness campaigns across the country on issues concerning women's rights, gender equality, prevention of sexual harassment, cyber safety, digital ethics, and gender-sensitive portrayal of women. These programs engage students, youth, media, civil society, or educational institutes, and other stakeholders. Over the last 3 years, 2,200 such programs were conducted, reaching approximately 1.75 lakhs participants. The Commission conducts legal awareness and gender sensitization programs to educate women and the public about constitutional safeguards, statutory protections, bodily autonomy and consent, as well as legal remedies available under various laws, including the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act 2013, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, Information Technology Act 2000, and other relevant legislations. The Campus Calling initiative is also part of these efforts. Over the last 3 years, 1,000 such programs were conducted with approximately 1.10 lakhs participants. NCW periodically engages with representatives from the media and entertainment industry, digital platforms, academia, law enforcement agencies, and other experts to promote responsible content creation, gender-sensitive communication, and adherence to ethical standards that uphold the dignity and rights of women. 8 such consultations were conducted during the last 3 years with approximately 450 participants. The Commission conducts awareness programs on cyber safety, online harassment, cyber stalking, cyberbullying, and the misuse of digital platforms, promoting safer online spaces for women and encouraging the reporting of online abuse through appropriate legal and institutional mechanisms. Over the last 3 years, 41 such programs were conducted, reaching approximately 9,000 participants. As part of its digital empowerment efforts, NCW launches the Yashoda AI Literacy for Women program in May 2025. The initiative aims to equip women with AI literacy and enhance their digital inclusion with a focus on cybersecurity, digital privacy, and safe online practices. The NCW will continue to strengthen its awareness, sensitization, and capacity building initiatives in collaboration with concerned ministries, regulatory bodies, educational institutes, media organizations, digital platforms, and civil society organizations. NCRB report 2023 recorded 4,48,211 reported crime against women in 2023, at a rate of 66.2 per lakh female population. That is roughly 51 complaints every hour across the country. This tells us that the challenge is not limited to preventing crime. It is also concerned the quality of investigation, the effectiveness of prosecution, and the support available to a victim at every stage of the justice process. Compensation to the victim is another serious concern. Implementation of victim compensation scheme remains uneven across states. NALSA's own figures for 2024-25 shows only about 27,000 applications for victim compensation decided nationwide, while pending applications stood at over 14,000. I would also seek your attention towards a practice that continues to trouble the women victims, that is, attempts to settle or compromise cases, even in heinous offenses, despite our courts have repeatedly made it clear that these are not compoundable offenses and victim cannot be persuaded or pressurized to withdraw. I would also like to share one recent example where one of the High Court held that grabbing a minor girl's breast and breaking the string of her pajama did not amount an attempt to rape in the matter at the stage of framing charges only. However, Honorable Supreme Court of India, by a welcome step, set aside this judgment and through National Judicial Academy, constituted an expert committee headed by former Supreme Court Justice Aniruddha Bose, which submitted a report emphasizing on preventing use of terminologies to avoid secondary traumatization of the victims of sexual assault. Regarding safety of women in workplace, I would like to say that 12 years after the POSH Act came into force, we must ask ourselves honestly why its implementation still falls short. Internal committees and local committees are still not constituted at many places, particularly outside government institutes and the unorganized sector. Even where committees were being constituted, many members have not received meaningful legal or procedural training. However, the Commission is continuously training the LCs and has done more than 160 trainings in this year only. The Family Court Act 1984 requires that every reasonable effort be made to help parties reconcile. Every family court should have counselors who are trained not only in mediation techniques, but also in recognizing when a marriage is unsafe to preserve. The Commission also, through an initiative, Tere Mere Sapne, has started around 60 premarital communication centers across 11 states. These centers help young couples discuss expectation, responsibilities, communication, and the practical foundation of a lasting marriage. As we look ahead, I would place the following suggestions before this distinguished gathering. Time-bound justice for crimes against women, a strict timeline for trials in rape, POCSO, domestic violence cases. There is a need to adopt standardized and time-bound protocols for the prompt payment of victim compensation. There is a need of gender-sensitive approach in judicial officers to deal women-related cases with empathy and to avoid repeated testimony and secondary victimization. Need to ensure dignity and confidentiality of survivors. DLSM must initiate sumoto interim compensation in heinous offenses. Marriage registrars may ensure that couples receive premarital counseling before registration. Capacity building for judges on emerging digital offenses. The National Commission for Women is ready to coordinate and support all the agencies for fulfilling all such needs of the women. Also, in cases involving significant questions concerning women's rights, safety, and dignity, court may consider appointing the National Commission for Women as an amicus curiae. As I look around this room and see judges, mediators, and practitioners from across the southern states, I see much more than a conference. I see a shared commitment. My hope is simple. When you leave the academy, you carry back to your high courts, district courts, institutes, and legal services authorities not only notes from these sessions, but also a quiet and firm resolution to close the gap between what our laws promise and what women actually experience. I once again extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the honorable judges present here, Karnataka Judicial Academy, and to every panelist and participant who has made this conference possible. I offer my special thanks to Honorable Justice Nagaratna Madam and Justice Vibhu Bakru Sir for gracing this inauguration session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam, for your inspiring address and for sharing your valuable insights on advancing justice and empowerment for women.
May I now respectfully request Honorable Shri Justice Vibhu Bhakru, Chief Justice, High Court of Karnataka, Patron-in-Chief, Karnataka State Legal Services Authority, Karnataka Judicial Academy, and Karnataka Mediation Center to deliver the presidential address.
Honorable Justice Srimati B.V. Nagratna, Judge of the Supreme Court of India, Justice Lisa Gill, the Chief Justice of Andhra Pradesh, Justice Jayant Banerjee, Judge of the High Court of Karnataka, and the President of the Karnataka Judicial Academy, Justice Pandit, Judge of the High Court of Karnataka, and the President of the Karnataka Mediation Center, my brother and sister judges from various high courts across the country, southern states, Srimati Vijay Radkar, Chairperson, National Commission for Women, Srimati Shalini Rajneesh, Chief Secretary, State of Karnataka, Shri Shashikaran Shetty, Advocate General, Karnataka, judicial officers, delegates from across the southern states, members of the bar, civil society, representatives, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Swami Vivekananda once said, "There is no chance for the welfare of the world unless the conditions of women are improved. It's not possible for a bird to fly on one wing." He also reminded us that the true measure of nation's progress lies in the dignity and safety and status accorded to its women. Our culture is replete with teachings of reverence for women. One may only refer to the verse 356 from the ancient text Manusmriti. Yatra naraistru pujayante ramanete tatra devta. Yatra nestu na pujayante sarvasta phala kriya. It means that where women are honored, divinity blossoms, but where they are not respected, all noble actions become fruitless. Yet today we must ask honestly, have we as custodians of justice lived up to those values? The truth remains deeply concerning. According to the latest National Crime Records Bureau, Crime India 2024 report released in May 2026, 4.41 lakh cases of crime against women were registered across India. The numbers remain alarmingly high and translate to thousands of women experience violence every single day. India's rating in Women's Peace and Security Index in 2025 is 131. It is in the fourth quintile, just below Iran, Libya, and Namibia, which are tied at 128. The National Annual Report and Index in Women's Safety, NARI 2025, released by NCW, presents one of the most comprehensive assessments of women's safety across 31 Indian cities, going beyond conventional crime statistics to capture women's lived experiences, perceptions of safety, and institutional responsiveness. India recorded an overall national safety score of 65%, with cities classified as much above, below, much below this benchmark. Kohima, Visakhapatnam, Bhubaneswar, Aizawl, Gangtok, Itanagar, and Mumbai emerged as the safest cities due to a stronger gender equity, effective civic participation, responsive institutions, and women-friendly infrastructure. While Patna, Jaipur, Faridabad, Delhi, Kolkata, Srinagar, and Ranchi ranked among the least safe because of weak institutional mechanisms, patriarchal social norms, inadequate urban infrastructure, and poor public safety measures. The report revealed that 7% of the women experienced harassment in 2024, with this figure rising sharply to 14% among women below the age of 24. Verbal harassment accounted for 58% of the reported incidents, while 38% occurred within neighborhoods, and 29% on public transport, identifying these as the most vulnerable spaces. Although 86% of women felt safe in educational institutions during daytime, confidence declined significantly after dark, underscoring persistent concerns about inadequate lighting, surveillance, and public transport security. Nari 2025 also exposes significant institutional and societal gaps that continue to undermine women's safety. Only 20% of the women who experienced harassment reported incidents to authorities, and among those complaints, merely 22% were officially registered, while only 16% resulted in concrete action, reflecting serious shortcomings in law enforcement and grievance redressal. Furthermore, 75% of the women expressed a lack of trust in police and legal system, highlighting the urgent need for institutional reforms. The report identifies deep-rooted patriarchy, victim-blaming attitudes, economic dependence, delayed justice, low conviction rates, underutilization of Nirbhaya Fund, inadequate representation of women in policing, which is 11.7% in India compared to global average of 24.7%. Poor urban infrastructure and rising cyber crimes as a major barriers to women's safety. Unlike the National Crimes Records Bureau data, which primarily records reported crimes, NARI 2025 adopts a holistic approach by incorporating physical, psychological, financial, and digital dimensions of safety, thereby supporting evidence-based policymaking under initiatives such as Safe City Project, Mission Saksi, and Nirbhaya Fund. There are 4 battlegrounds where women's safety is tested every day: the home, the workplace, the marriage, and public spaces. It is most disheartening that even in homes are not safe havens for women. Cruelty by husband or relatives continues to constitute the largest category of offenses against women, followed by assault with an intent to outrage modesty, kidnapping and abduction, and rape. Domestic violence remains the most insidious because it hides behind the sanctity of family. Until 2025, a woman's remedies were tethered only to matrimonial proceedings, divorce in civil courts, or Section 498A in the criminal court. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005 finally recognized violence beyond marriage, covering physical, sexual, emotional, verbal, and economic abuse, and extending protection even to live-in relationships and children. Yet the enactment's promise collides with grim realities. Research shows that illiterate women face significantly higher violence. Joint families sometimes offer protection while at other times enable silence and economic dependence, trapping the victims in cycles they cannot break. We are all conscious that an order of protection means nothing if a woman has nowhere else to go. Dowry, ancient social evil we believed the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961 would eradicate, continues to claim the lives of women across the country. Despite stringent legal provisions against dowry death, cruelty and criminal breach of trust relating to Sridhan, the practice continues to destroy countless families and undermine women's dignity and autonomy. These offenses are now substantially reflected in the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023, replacing the earlier provisions of Section 304B, 498A, and 406 of the Indian Penal Code. Yet the Law Commission in the 2012 and Justice Malimat Committee in 2003 both flagged how Section 498's non-compoundable nature can trap families in irreversible litigation without offering any reformative justice. Workplace. At workplace, women continue to encounter significant barriers despite measurable progress in labor force participation. Recent analysis based on the periodic labor force survey indicates that female labor force participation has risen from 23.3% in 2017-18 to 41.7% in 2023-24. This is an encouraging development. However, much of this increase is concentrated in informal, self-employed, and unpaid work, which means that participation is not always translated into secure, dignified, or equitable employment. Equally concerning is the continuing prevalence of workplace sexual harassment, much of which remains unreported because of fear, stigma, and the lack of confidence in institutional mechanisms. The Vishaka judgment of 1997 gave us our first legal shield, years before the Parliament finally enacted the Sexual Harassment at Workplace Act 2013. While the Act represents a significant legislative milestone, challenges remain in its implementation, particularly within the informal sector, where millions of women continue to work without effective grievance mechanisms. Now let us turn to safety in public spaces, the streets, the buses, marketplace, which every woman must navigate daily. Sexual offenses against women continue to constitute one of the most serious challenges confronting our judicial justice system. The Nirbhaya gang rape aboard a moving bus in Delhi shocked our national conscience, but it was in no means an isolated incident. Incidents such as the Mumbai New Year's Eve assault, the Latour case, the Konar case, and several other instances of gender-biased violence reminds us that these incidents continue to occur despite a stronger legal framework. On an average, 86 cases of rape are reported every day in our country. To come to think of it, from the time this session started, 2 women have already suffered this crime. It took one horrific night in December 16, 2012, to shake the conscience of this nation. The Nirbhaya case forced us to confront with what statistics alone could not do. Justice Verma's committee's recommendations culminated in Criminal Law Amendment Act 2013, introducing Section 354A through 354D into Indian Penal Code, addressing sexual harassment, disrobing, voyeurism, stalking, alongside Section 326A and 326B for acid attacks. Many of these reforms have now been carried forward in the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. Today, technology has also emerged as both as an instrument of empowerment and a weapon of abuse. Cyber stalking, deepfake imagery, online sexual harassment, revenge pornography, and technology-facilitated gender-biased violence have become new frontiers of crime. Artificial intelligence, while opening new avenues for innovation, has also created new forms of gender-based abuse through deepfakes, impersonation, and online exploitation. Despite an extensive legal framework and decades of legislative reform, violence against women continues to persist across homes, workplaces, educational institutions, and public spaces. Why does this continue despite decades of legislative reform? The reasons are complex and interrelated. They include entrenched social attitudes that perpetuate gender inequality, economic dependence, and heightened vulnerability, unequal access to public spaces, and institutional shortcomings such as delayed investigation, inadequate forensic support, low conviction rates, and insufficient gender sensitization within the justice delivery system. While looking at material for speaking today, I came across a series of surveys. I was horrified to know how many men thought certain situations would justify women to be physically beaten. Horrifically, it ranged from 42% to 65%. Thus, 42% to 65% men find that it would be justified to beat their wives. This is a mindset that we need to change. Why does stringent penal provisions alone fail as a deterrent? Criminology teaches us that it is not the severity of punishment, but the certainty, the swiftness, and the fairness of punishment that truly deter crime. While conviction rates have shown gradual improvement over the years, they remain far from satisfactory, particularly in cases involving sexual offenses. Delays in investigation, inadequate forensic support, hostile witnesses, poor evidence collection, and prolonged trials continue to weaken the criminal justice system process. The challenge before us is therefore not merely to enact stringent laws, but to ensure prompt investigation, effective prosecution, and victim-sensitive procedures. Time-bound trials inspire confidence in the justice delivery system. And above all, we have to change our mindset to accept gender equality. Our legislative index is by no means short. You have Article 14, Article 15.1, 39D, 42, 51AE of the Constitution, the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act, 56, Dowry Prohibition Act, 1961, Indecent Representation of Women Prohibition Act, 1987, Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act, 2005, Sexual Harassment at Workplace Act, 2013, and India's ratification of CEDAW in 1993. But there is a chasm between legislative intent and enforcement reality. Whilst legislation provides the framework, its true efficacy depends upon the effective implementation. Statistics guide policy, but it is the human suffering behind those numbers that must continue to inform our collective conscience. Every day, countless women still alter their routes, change their routines, and carry the burden of fear. The Nirbhaya protests taught us to stand together for a safer environment. Women don't require special treatment. They demand and deserve respect. We have to be resolute in our commitment. No more harassment. We owe ourselves and our daughters a safer India. Ladies and gentlemen, the measure of civilized society is not in numbers of statutes it enacts, but the confidence with which its women walk its streets, work in offices, travel on its buses, and live in their own homes. Justice is not achieved merely when offenders are punished. It is achieved when every woman feels secure enough that she need not fear becoming a victim at all. As judges, lawyers, police officers, mediators, policymakers, and citizens, we share a collective responsibility to ensure that equality is not merely promised, but it is experienced. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Your Lordship, for your inspiring words.
We now move on to an important segment of today's program, the release of two significant publications. The first is the digital version of the handbook, We the Women of India.
May I request His Lordship, Honorable Shri Justice Jayant Banerjee, Judge, High Court of Karnataka, and President, Karnataka Judicial Academy, to kindly release the digital version of the handbook, We the Women of India.
Thank you, Your Lordship. We now request Honorable Shri Justice S.G. Pandit, Judge, High Court of Karnataka, and President, Karnataka Mediation Center, to kindly release the book titled Breaking the Silence, A Complete Guide to Domestic Violence and the Law. I request His Lordship to also release the book titled Breaking the Silence, A Complete Guide to Domestic Violence and the Law. Thank you, Your Lordship. Every distinguished gathering is enriched by the wisdom of its most eminent voices. It is now our proud privilege to request Honorable Srimati Justice B.V. Nagratna, Judge, Supreme Court of India, to deliver the inaugural address.
Namaskar and a very good morning to everybody. Honorable Shri Justice Vibhu Bhakru, Chief Justice, High Court of Karnataka. Honorable Srimati Lisa Gill, Chief Justice, Andhra Pradesh High Court. Honorable Shri Justice Jayant Banerjee, Judge, High Court of Karnataka and President, Karnataka Judicial Academy. Honorable Shri Justice S.G. Pandit, Judge, High Court of Karnataka and President, Karnataka Mediation Center. Honorable Dr. Vijaya Rahatkar, Chairperson, National Commission for Women. Sister and brother judges of the High Courts of Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Madras and Telangana. Chief Secretary, Government of Karnataka, Srimati Shalini Rajneesh. Sri Sudeep Jain, Member Secretary of National Commission for Women. Law Officer Sri Verma and all officers of National Commission for Women who are present here today. Advocate General Sri Shashi Kiran Shetty and law officers of the Union of India. Esteemed panelists who have agreed to respond and come here today. Learned judicial officers of the southern states. all distinguished guests and delegates who have responded to our invitation, from the academia, mediators and conciliators and resource persons, Director and her team of Karnataka Judicial Academy, Registrar General and Registrars of the Karnataka High Court, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. I think it is a great honor for me to address this gathering of judges, practitioners, and field experts in pursuance of the tireless efforts of the National Commission of Women on the theme Justice for Women, in collaboration with the Supreme Court of India and the encouragement of Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Justice Surya Kant. At the outset, I think it would be apposite to introspect on this theme itself in some detail. We do not conduct seminars on justice for men. We do not seek to convene members of the judiciary as well as the leading academics and practitioners to deliberate upon whether the other half of the population can reach a court hall in time and seek legal remedies in real time. Women constitute almost half of the country's population. As per the 2011 census, as there has been no census thereafter, the sex ratio of the country stood at 943 women for every 1,000 men. It is heartening to note, however, that this number is much higher in the southern states than the northern or other parts of the country. And in Kerala, as well as the Union Territory of Puducherry, I think the women, in fact, outnumber men. Despite 76 years of the Constitution, we are gathered here to discuss whether the justice system serves women from the womb to the tomb. I say womb because even the right to be born is in great jeopardy. What are some of the reasons for this? One reason lies in the distinction between formal and substantive equality. The erudite framers, including the 15 women Constituent Assembly members whose pictures we just saw a while ago, were aware of this. This knowledge underpins the existence of Article 15(3) in the form of a clause permitting the state to make special provisions for women and children. The second reason is that harms suffered by women are fundamentally distinct from those harms suffered by men. I do not have to detail that. But what is significant is that the perpetrators of such harms are not strangers, faceless, nameless strangers, but are often women upon whom, often men upon whom a woman is dependent, either financially or socially. The home that should be a form of sanctuary for her is the arena in which some of the violence is inflicted. It could be in the parental or marital home, the workplace, or even in a public place. The third reason is the manner in which hurdles are faced by a woman at every level. This is an account of lack of awareness on the one side, or the other is the absence of sensitization on the part of authorities on the other. While it is true that all courts are dealing with issues of substantial backlog, only a fraction of aggrieved women are able to secure justice in time and not face a situation where justice delayed is justice denied. I'll just briefly touch upon the topics for discussion of this conference. Legal aid and legal advice. We are all aware of the salutary object of Article 39A of the Constitution. How has this guarantee materialized in practice? As per the India Justice Report of 2022, 80% of India's population is eligible for legal aid on the basis of the broad and inclusive statutory framework. Between the years 2022 and 25, legal aid was availed of by approximately 44.22 lakh individuals. As per the statistics furnished by NALSA, in the period between April 2025 to March 2026, 4,14,795 women have availed legal aid, which is a laudable figure. But you see, the state of Jharkhand, which is one of the smaller states, has extended legal aid to almost 1/4 of this, that is 1,21,543 women who have received legal aid. The numbers among the South Indian states are also promising, with Kerala and Karnataka leading these figures. Not all states are similarly promising. For example, in Uttar Pradesh, only 3,712 women have received legal aid in the last year. We as judges, we are all familiar when we see in the court hall a sight where a woman appears before our courts without a counsel, or a counsel who has been appointed only on that morning by the Legal Services Committee, and she is seeking assistance in cases of dowry harassment, cruelty, domestic violence, or maintenance. My suggestion is that legal aid must be provided immediately after the incident, either in the police stations or in the hospitals. There must be a more structured framework which must be established so that the synergies between the state legal services authorities right up to the taluk level and the primary health centers, government hospitals in villages and police stations are there. I need not take the time of this August gathering to speak about legal aid defense counsel system, but I must say that a study must be conducted on the efficacy of the legal aid extended in the form of outcomes rather than just the number of beneficiaries who have received legal aid. Paralegal volunteers must be available in a short notice so that there can be a quick remedy given to them. As the chairperson of the Supreme Court Legal Services Committee, my suggestion is that as and when cases are decided by the High Court through legal aid, a communication is sent to the Supreme Court Legal Services Committee so that in case any of the losing parties wishes to approach the Supreme Court, there is always an advance information. This is in order to avoid the delay in approaching the Supreme Court. Coming to another sticky topic with regard to access to justice for women, let me flag one issue concerning the state of Karnataka. I am informed that recently there have been amendments made to the Karnataka Civil Courts Amendment Act 2023 and the Karnataka High Court Amendment Act 2023. As a result, the High Court has been denuded, High Court of Karnataka has been denuded of its jurisdiction to hear first appeals. What does this entail? A judgment and decree passed by a civil judge senior division is now appealable before a district court and not before the High Court, Dihor's Karnataka city. That means what? On a question, on a finding of fact, there can be no appeal to the High Court. What do women do if they are aggrieved by a finding of fact on an issue as to whether an item of property is joint family property or separate property? From the district court, they would have had to approach the Supreme Court through Article 136. How many women in Karnataka can approach the Supreme Court? I wonder why the government of Karnataka has denuded the High Court of its jurisdiction with regard to regular first appeals. It interferes with the independence of the High Court to decide matters, and also the women litigants, I would say even the men litigants, are disadvantaged in this country, in this state, as opposed to the other places in the state. My appeal is to the state government and also to the Learned Advocate General to ensure that this is rectified and there is a repeal of this provision. Let the women of Karnataka not face a disadvantage, because on a question of fact, they would have had to approach the Supreme Court, and only on a substantial question of law, they would have to approach the High Court under Section 100. What if the Supreme Court remands the matter on the question of fact, and there is already a matter pending under Section 100 before the High Court? Should the matter go to the district court, or where should the matter go? Or as against the same decree, there can't be two forums where an appeal should lie. Therefore, my urge to Madam Secretary is here, Law Secretary is here, Chief Secretary is here. Let our women in Karnataka not be at a disadvantage. Consequently, even the men litigants will benefit by this. Of all the female population in the country, there are, I think, about 4% women prisoners. What is the, out of the 1,300 prisons in the country, about 34 are dedicated to women's jails, and they exist only in 15 states and union territories. The remainder of women prisoners are housed in separate enclosures within men's prisons. We have Justice Anita Sumant who will address us on this topic as to the rights of female prisoners. Under Section 357A of the CRPC and now, which is Section 396 of the BNSS, a statutory victim compensation is contemplated. My submission is that this interim compensation must be given ordinarily at the stage of filing of the charge sheet, so that there is some amount available for medical treatment and legal expenses. The usual bottlenecks that cause delays in disbursement of compensation must be identified and rooted out. We have Ms. Pragya Prasoon, founder Atijeevan, who would speak about her experiences, and Ms. Kaveri, registrar, who would speak on the system of victim compensation. It is crucial that in the process of conduct of trial, attempts at securing justice for women do not lead to re-victimization or stigmatization of the survivor. It is important to recognize that no judge willingly seeks to typify stereotypes. Rather, this is a product of insufficient awareness and an ability to gauge bias for oneself. The role of judicial academies in combating such stereotypes and prejudices and sensitizing judicial officers on the language used during the course of recording evidence and in judgments is significant, and a separate module in this regard must be framed and implemented. Justice Moshmi Bhattacharjee will address us on this topic. In the year 2013, Parliament enacted the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013. 13 years later, where do we stand? There are three practical considerations, and out of which I will say one. The third is what does the victim choose and at what cost? Professional, social, or otherwise, in making a complaint itself against her colleagues or to obtain any relief. Next, studies on the success rates of court-annexed mediation centers report that there are about 60 to 65% of matters that are resolved. That is a very good thing. We thank Sri Sriram Panchu, senior advocate, and the other panelists who are addressing us on this. But we often see women signing off relinquishment deeds in mediations in partition suits. The women co-partners readily agree to sign away the rights in the properties as a part of a mediated settlement. Why is this? Let the relinquishment deed not be the center or central focus of a settlement. The National Crime Record Bureau records 4,41,534 cases of crimes against women in the year 2024. The conviction rate in crimes against women is only 1 in every 5 cases. Although we have fast-track courts, special courts, all kinds of courts, nevertheless, there are over 2 lakh cases currently pending in these cases. My submission is how fast and how best we can grant relief to the women victims through these courts. I also urge the National Commission for Women to take up a study on the disbursement and utilization of the Nirbhaya Fund in states and union territories across India. With regard to human trafficking, the Immoral Trafficking Prevention Act 1956 is the framework legislation. I am told that the bench of a Supreme Court this year has constituted a national committee to standardize anti-trafficking procedures across the states. We have 2 officers from the IPS cadre from Karnataka and Telangana, who will enlighten us on this deviousness of this crime and the ways and means adopted by offenders, as well as on rescue and rehabilitation measures. Almost 20 years have passed since the Domestic Violence Act 2005 has been enacted. What are the roadblocks to this implementation? We have Ms. Geeta Ramasheshan, advocate and mediator, to address us on this topic. Cybercrime complaints involving women have risen from roughly 50,000 in 2024 to close to 80,000 this year. What is distinctive about such forms of harm? There is a degree of permanence to anything uploaded or created on the internet. It may be endlessly disseminated, making any form of restitution likely impossible. What are some of the ways forward? It goes without saying that there is a need to publicize existing mechanisms, such as helplines for women, cybercrime reporting, and the National Legal Aid Helpline, so that the victim of cybercrime may quickly take action and protect her rights and interests. In conclusion, let me return to the question with which I began. We continue to need a theme called Justice for Women, because the laws promised are almost complete, but the delivery is not. Undertaking the more arduous of tasks in creating changes in mindsets, societal attitudes, and practices can only occur when systemic changes in the system of justice delivery are undertaken. Over the next 2 days, I anticipate that many actionable and practical solutions will be advanced by the illustrious group of panelists who have come in response to our invitation. For all of us to imbibe these, query further, and see what can immediately be implemented, even if the issue in question is one which has faded in the backdrop of our national consciousness, is the need of the hour. As we conceptualize solutions to many of these problems, we should recognize the manner in which different categories of women are differently impacted by them. Women who are categorized or marginalized on account of caste, disability, neurodivergence, and regional disparities must be taken into consideration. Specific interventions may be required to achieve the same outcomes for different groups of women. I finally end with a big thank you to the National Commission for Women, all the panelists who have gathered here today, to the Chief Justice and Honorable Judges of the Karnataka High Court, to the Chief Justices of the Southern Zone who have nominated the judges to participate in this conference, Karnataka Judicial Academy, registrars of the Karnataka High Court, and last but not the least, the judges, judicial officers, delegates who have responded to our invitation, despite other conferences taking place in other parts of the country, to deliberate upon justice for women. Thank you and namaskar.
Thank you, Your Ladyship, for your profound and inspiring address. Your thoughts reaffirm our collective commitment to justice, equality, constitutional values, and the empowerment of women.
As we come to the conclusion of this inaugural session, it is now time to express our sincere gratitude to all those whose efforts have made this occasion memorable.
May I now request Srimati H.R. Radha Madam, Registrar Vigilance, High Court of Karnataka, to propose the vote of thanks.
Honorable Srimati Justice B.V. Nagaratna, Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Sri Justice Vibhu Bakru, Chief Justice High Court of Karnataka and Patron-in-Chief of Karnataka Judicial Academy, Honorable Sri Justice Jayant Banerjee, Judge High Court of Karnataka and President of Karnataka Judicial Academy, Honorable Sri Justice S.G. Pandit, Judge High Court of Karnataka and President of Karnataka Mediation Center, Honorable Dr. Vijaya Rahatkar, Chairperson, National Commission for Women, Honorable Justice Lisa Gill, the Chief Justice of High Court of Andhra Pradesh, Honorable Judges from the participating states, Srimati Shalini Rajneesh, Chief Secretary to the Government of Karnataka, Shri Shashi Kiran Shetty, Learned Advocate General, respected Judge Designates, distinguished dignitaries, esteemed resource persons, Registrar General and other registrars of the High Court, respected delegates, academia, dedicated faculty, and the staff of Karnataka Judicial Academy, ladies and gentlemen, a warm good morning to everyone. On behalf of the organizing committee, I extend my deepest gratitude to each of you for making the South Zone Conference on Justice for Women a truly meaningful and inspiring gathering. I sincerely thank our own Honorable Srimati Justice B.V. Nagaratna, Judge Supreme Court of India, for inaugurating the conference and for a very thought-provoking inaugural address, setting the tone for conference. Thank you, ma'am. Honorable Shri Justice Vibhu Bakru, Chief Justice, High Court of Karnataka and Patron-in-Chief of Karnataka Judicial Academy is a source of encouragement, and His Lordship's visionary leadership has helped the Academy in organizing this prestigious conference. My Lord, on this occasion, we express our heartfelt gratitude for sharing Your Lordship's invaluable insights and perspectives on the subject. Thank you, my Lord. Honorable Shri Justice Jayant Banerjee, Judge High Court of Karnataka and the President of Karnataka Judicial Academy, and Honorable Shri Justice S.G. Pandit, Judge High Court of Karnataka and the President of Karnataka Mediation Center, have extended steadfast support to the Karnataka Judicial Academy and guided us well on all the matters. We thank them for the same. Thank you, my lords. Our earnest thanks goes out to Srimati Dr. Vijaya Rahatkar, Chairperson, National Commission for Women, for choosing Karnataka to conduct the South Zone Conference on Justice for Women, and for the inspiring address. Your insights have provided a strong intellectual foundation for this conference. Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of the organizers, I express heartfelt gratitude to the Honorable Chief Justice of Andhra Pradesh High Court, Madam Justice Lisa Gill, Honorable Governors of Karnataka Judicial Academy, and all Honorable Judges of the High Court of Karnataka and 4 participating High Courts, the Chief Secretary to the Government of Karnataka, the respected Judge Designates, the Chief Secretary, the Learned Advocate General Shri Shashi Kiran Shetty, for their support and gracious presence. Distinguished resource persons, the delegates, directors of the judicial academies, judicial officers, the Registrar General and other registrars, the esteemed participants representing 5 southern states have graced the occasion, accepting our invitation. On behalf of the organizers, I thank each one of them. A special word of appreciation is due to the entire team of officers from NCW for conceptualizing and making the South Zone Regional Conference a reality in Karnataka. The director and faculty of the Karnataka Judicial Academy, members of various committees, the staff and technical team have worked round the clock for the success of this event. We sincerely appreciate them for the meticulous planning to ensure the smooth conduct of the conference. To all our distinguished guests and participants, the print and electronic media, a big thank you for your valuable time and unwavering support. Finally, I extend gratitude to all those who have worked behind the scenes, ensuring that every detail is taken care of with precision and care. This conference has been a collective effort, and together we have taken a step forward in advancing justice for women. Thank you for all for your presence, your commitment, and your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. On behalf of the organizing committee, we also express our sincere thanks to Srimati H.R. Radha Madam, Registrar Vigilance, High Court of Karnataka.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now request all of you to rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all.
We request everyone to kindly remain seated until the dignitaries leave the dais. We will soon commence the technical sessions. Thank you.